Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honour to rise today to recognize the International Day for the Elimination of Violence against Women. Violence against women is a human rights issue and a consequence of systemic discrimination and the persistent inequalities between men and women. This is especially true for Indigenous women and girls, who are far more likely to be the target of violence. It's not just a global problem we discuss in theory, it's an issue that we see here in our province, in our homes, in our communities, and, sadly, in our own political arena, as women are abused and mistreated every day in our province. Half of all women in Canada have experienced at least one incident of physical or sexual violence. I'll say that again. Half of all women in Canada have experienced at least one incident of physical or sexual violence. And that doesn't count the taunts and psychological abuse that far too many women continue to endure. Worse still, every 6 days, a woman in Canada is killed by her intimate partner. It's absolutely horrifying to me that women and girls across the world and in our own province live in fear of violence. As the son of a strong mother, as husband to a strong feminist who every day leads by example, and as the father of daughters, this issue of ending violence against women is deeply personal for me. We must recognize that violence takes many forms and acknowledge the difficulties many women face when they come forward about the violence that they have faced in their own lives. We must believe women when they do come forward and stand with them to fight against the culture of violence and harm that is permeated in our society. Our first response must be, I believe you. I encourage all Albertans to participate in the United Nations' 16 days of activism against gender violence. But it's also important to continue the activism every single day beyond that. It's up to all of us, men and women, to call out people who harass women online or in our daily lives. Believe the women who come forward with stories of violence. Listen and act on what they have to say. Work to create a culture that rejects violence, threats, or verbal abuse as a way to deal with problems or to exert control. Teach and encourage the people around you that any and all forms of violence against women are simply unacceptable. And most of all, support the women in your lives in their activism to end violence against women. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.